Hi, I'm Trev Alberts of CSTV.com. It's time now to dip into the mailbag. We have a couple questions this week. Our first one comes from Carter from Kentucky, who asks, has Steve Kragthorpe destroyed what Bobby Petrino took so long to build at Louisville, or can the Cardinals bounce back and still be a contender for the Big East title after their 2 consecutive losses? No, I don't think, Carter, that they can bounce back. I think this is a team, obviously, offensively under Brian Brohm, that gets it done. He continues to put up big numbers. The problem, of course, has been their defense. They simply haven't stopped anybody defensively. And I think there's a larger issue schematically with what they're doing defensively. In the offseason, Steve Kragthorpe hired Keith Patterson to be his defensive coordinator, then named another defensive coordinator in Mike Cassidy to have co-defensive coordinators. Keith Patterson was unhappy, went back to Tulsa under Todd Graham, and I think you can see the results of that. The Cardinal defensively has just not been very good. So I think that they'll continue to be good offensively. Brian Brohm will continue to put up big numbers, but they're not going to compete in the Big East, not with Rutgers and West Virginia and teams like South Florida, who actually do play a bit of defense. Our second question is from Mike from Illinois, who says, is the class of the Big Ten Wisconsin or Ohio State? And Mike, either you didn't watch the game against Iowa or UNLV or the Citadel, or certainly you wouldn't have put Wisconsin in that category. Mike, Brett Bielema's team has done a pretty good job all season getting the wins, but they've done nothing to impress in terms of thinking they'll be able to play for the Big Ten championship. I think the class of the Big Ten still has to be considered Ohio State. We knew about their defense. James Laurinaitis and company have been outstanding. But offensively, I think that's been the surprise. We knew about Beanie Wells, Chris Wells. He's been pretty consistent at running back. But Todd Beckham, I think, has done a pretty good job at quarterback. He continues to grow. Another 4 touchdowns last week, being efficient with the offense. So I think Michigan's in that conversation as well. I know they lost their first 2 games, but they're certainly getting better. Michael Hart has taken his team on his shoulders. But right now, the class of the Big Ten is Ohio State. Well, those are the 2 questions for this week. If you have a question, please feel free to email it to trevmailbag@cstv.com. Enjoy the games.